Empowering others to excel with your host, Jacqueline Job. Are you ready to be transformed? I'm here to uplift, encourage, motivate, and inspire. Empowering others to excel with your host, Jacqueline Job.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Thank you for tuning in, everyone. I am Jacqueline Job, your empowerment strategist. Thank you for tuning in to Empowering Others to Excel live on WMEG, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. If you have not followed, please go and follow us on Facebook at Empowering Others to Excel and subscribe on YouTube at Empowering Others to Excel. We want to build a community. So come on, y'all. Let's build this community together where we can support each other, where we can be each other's accountable partner. And most of all, we're going to encourage, uplift, motivate, and inspire you. So thank you yet again for tuning in to WMEG and us live on social media. I'm going to give out the phone number early just in case you all want to tune in and call. The number is 443-267-6558. So if you want to call in during this session, please feel free to call in. Today we're going to be talking about the power of choosing you. And I realized I didn't do this last time. Good morning, DJ Rock.
Good morning.
So yes, I gotta let y'all know DJ Rock is in the building. So if you need somebody to DJ, y'all need to contact DJ Rock.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. Okay, so we're going to dive into this. We're going to first talk about last week's session. Last week's session was talking about shifting from fear to faith. Now, you all had some homework as always, and I hope you all did your homework. We were talking about overcoming self-doubt and fear-based thinking. And you had for 7 days replace every fear-based thought with a faith-based truth. Faith-based truth. Write it down, speak it aloud. So, step one was to identify the fear. Journal or speak it out. I am afraid that, or I'm afraid of. Step two, challenge the lie. Ask, is this true or is this a fear based on the story I'm believing? And then step three, replace it with the truth. So you can use affirmations, you can use scriptures, you can use past victories that you have overcome, and just basically you're rebutting that lie. So that was your assignment last week. I hope you all have been rehearsing that assignment and practicing that assignment and making yourself better in the process. Now I look back and I'm like, wow, this is my fourth session. This is my fourth session a month. I'm proud of myself. Hey. Okay, so we're going to be talking about. Oh, there you go. There you go. Yeah. We hanging in there. We're going to be here for the long haul, y'all. So we're going to be talking about discussing the power of choosing you. What would your life look like if you choose yourself every single day? What would your life look like if you chose yourself every single day? And some people are like, oh, that's just selfish. No, it don't have to be the whole day. Like, I'm not listening to you. Nope, I'm not answering questions. No, I'm just saying, if you chose yourself out of the day, a little bit every single day, what would your life look like? Now, this is what we need to know. And these are the questions that you need to ask yourself before we dive in, because in order to be able to choose you, you need to know who you are. And that's a lot of things that we struggle with. Who am I? Like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? So now I want you to think about these things. What are your core values? And when I say what are your core values, I mean, what principles do you stand on? Even when no one is watching, this is what it is. This is what it has to be. Good morning, Bree. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in and watching today. So that is the first thing I want you to think about. What are your core values. Next, I want you to think, what brings me joy and makes me feel alive? What brings me joy and makes me feel alive? So, what activities, what people, or experiences energize you and make you feel aligned to your true self? So, I want you to think about that. First one, what are your core values? Remember, this is helping you to identify who you are. What brings me joy and makes me feel alive? And then, when do I feel most confident and authentic? When do I feel most confident and authentic? What am I doing, thinking, or saying when I feel like myself? Because I know a lot of times we can spit out what it is that we're doing that makes us feel like fake, phony, and what they say, I'm just making it. I'm just making it. So I'm just doing what I got to do. But no, what is it that makes you feel most confident and authentic? And you just stop and go, oh, this is me. Like, this is my true self. Like, all right, now I like this. I want you to think about that. Next question. What limiting beliefs or fears have I allowed to define me? What limiting beliefs or fears have I allowed to define me? So, what stories, labels did you accept that other people have said or that you said about yourself that you have allowed to define you? And you always say, well, this is who I am. No, that's not who you are. So just think about that. What do I want to be remembered for? Now, that's a good one. We don't want to think about passing away, but what do you want to be remembered for? If somebody described you in one sentence, what do you think they would say? Or what would you want them to say? So that is some things that I want you to think about. These are 5 powerful self-reflecting questions. What are my core values? What brings me joy and makes me feel alive? When do I feel most confident and authentic? What limiting beliefs or fears have I allowed to define me? And what do I want to be remembered for? Now, if you're able to sit down at some time and answer those questions, then you'll be able to identify you. You'll be able to say, okay, this is my truth. This is what I stand for. This is what I want people to see when they look at me. And then if you have those sets of values, or what you can call it your mission statement, whatever it is for you, then you can stop on your days when you're feeling crazy and be like, wait a minute. Does this line up with what I believe, or this line up for what I feel or want for myself? Do I want people to see me acting like this? Is this what I want to be remembered for? Flipping the table, stomping, having a tantrum. Is this what I want to be remembered for? So those are questions that you can stop, reevaluate, reflect, and think, and then change it if it's something that you don't like that you're happy to be doing at that moment. So those are just some questions that I want you to think about while we are going through today. Okay, now segment 1, we're going to be talking about what it means to choose yourself. What does it mean to choose yourself? And when I say choose yourself, I mean making your voice heard. Your needs, dreams, and well-being are a priority. That's what I'm talking about when I say choose yourself. So when you do that, making your voice heard, what are your needs? What are your dreams? And your well-being is a priority. So that means you're taking time out for yourself. And it's not selfish. It is not selfish. This is foundational. You know how everything is built on a foundation. This needs to be your foundation. So when you go through life, you walking around, I want to make sure that when I'm walking around, I am being heard. Meaning everybody is not walking over top of me. They're not just saying what they want to say. They're not doing whatever they want to do to me. I am in this space. So I want to be present in this space. And I want to let people know, guess what? I'm here. Hey, I'm here. I can add some value. So make your voice heard. What are your needs? Everybody needs something. Everybody needs something. They want something. And we always say needs and wants are different. Wants you need, wait a minute, I'm sorry. Needs is something that you need in order to survive. Wants is just something that you want that might bring you pleasure, joy, or satisfaction at that moment. But what are your needs? What do you need? What do you need people to do for you? What do you need to do for yourself? So I want you to think about that. Dreams. What are your dreams? What are your goals, your ambitions, aspirations? What are some things that you want to do for yourself? So if you look back over your life and you can say, yes, I accomplished these things. What are your dreams? Everybody should have some type of goal set up that they're working towards, because that's going to just keep them pushing forward. If you don't have a goal set up, then you're just going through your day nilly-willy. You're doing the same thing every day or something different, but it's not adding any value to your life. So you want to have some kind of goal set up, even if it's something simple as I want to go here one day. Make it happen. Put them steps in there, work it out. But you should have some kind of goals. So those are things I want you to think about. And then your well-being. Are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of yourself? Are you taking care of yourself physically? If it got to be working out, eating right, whatever you're putting into your body, are you taking care of yourself mentally? What are you thinking? How is your behavior? How is your emotions? Are you taking care of yourself? Now, this week, I have been praying this throughout this week. And when I was praying, I had listened to Dr. Cindy Trim, Morning Prayers and Decrees. And she just stated something inside of her prayer that it stuck out to me. And I was like, oh, I'm going to share it with you, because I'm talking about choosing you today. And in her prayer, she was helping people to identify who they were, and they hope that they will identify or find their purpose. So she just said your identity, who you are, purpose, who you were born to be, destiny, where you are going, vision, what you see yourself accomplishing in your lifetime, mission, why you do what you do, assignment, what you should be doing when you get there, and then relationship, who you should be doing it with, people who add value to your life. And those are some things I just want you to think about. Your identity, who are you? Purpose, what were you born to do? Destiny, where are you going in your life? Where are you going? Are you just going to be a nomad wandering from place to place to place? Or do you have an actual destination that you're trying to get to? So think about that. Vision, what you see yourself accomplishing in your lifetime. And in order to have that vision, that means you got to make some goals to get there. Mission, what do you want to do? Or why you do what you do. So just like for me right now, as your empowerment strategist for empowering others to excel, my mission, why do I do what I do? And I do it because I want to be able to uplift people. I want to be able to encourage, motivate, and inspire people. Why? Because throughout my life, I have seen people who they just need that extra support. They're struggling in different areas of their life, and they need that person there who say, hey, I see you. I see you. And I want you to move from this place to the next. And I know how to get you there. So I'm going to help you. I want to be that person. That is my mission. So my mission is to go out here and to help people to get unstuck. Help people to see the better version of themselves. Help them to move from one place to another. So I'm going to do that through empowering them. I'm going to do that through motivating them, encouraging them, lifting them up. That's what I'm going to do. So that is my mission. Assignment, what you should be doing when you get there. So what is your assignment? So I already know every Saturday at 9 o'clock, this is my assignment. This is my assignment, is to be here speaking to you all, to encourage you all, to motivate you all. This is my assignment for right now at 9 o'clock. Now, I might get another assignment later on, but for right now, I know every Saturday at 9 o'clock, this is my assignment. And then relationships, who you should be doing it with, people who add value to your life. And there are going to be people who say, I got a lot of relationships. Yes, you do. But are those people adding value to your life? Are they there in your corner, rooting you on, pushing you? Are they pouring into you, giving you knowledge that's going to help you to grow? Or are they and the people in that relationship, are they the ones who are sucking you dry? Are they the ones who they're there rooting for you, but secretly they're waiting for you to fail? So I want you to think about that for your relationships, because there are a lot of people who have a lot of people attached to them. And that is great when you have a support system who's there, who got your back. You know they're there for a purpose in the season, and they're there to encourage you. But when you have a lot of people who are attached to you and you can't actually identify what their purpose is in your life, I need you to stop and think, are they adding value to my life? Are they helping me grow? Are they helping me meet my purpose? Are they getting me to my destination? Are they meeting me at my vision and my mission? Or are they taking me in another direction? I want you to think about that. So now I want you to ask yourself, when was the last time you made a decision just for you? When was the last time you made a decision just for you? Oh, all right. Now I see Brianna in the chat, and she just said, this is good. She needs to go back and revisit her goals. Yes, go back and revisit those goals because your goals will change. Your goals will change. Some people think when those goals are set, they're set in stone. Nope. Nope. You can rewrite those goals. You can make them work, change them up because you realize that's not the plan that you have anymore. Just like your plan will change. So go back and revisit those goals. Now, the question was, when was the last time you made a decision just for you? And when I say a decision just for you, it can be a 10-minute decision. So for parents, I'm going to take a break. I need a break. I tell my kids, I need my time. And they know when I say I need my time, that means don't bother me for at least 10, 15 minutes. And then if I go cut on a Hallmark movie, don't bother me till the movie is over with. They know what I'm talking about. So when was the last time you made a decision just for you? This is not somebody saying, oh, I need you to do this for me. Oh, can you do this? I know you're good at this. So can you do this? You will be good at it. No. You made a decision, not somebody else making a decision. You make a decision just for you. I also want you to write down one thing you've been putting off that could serve your growth. One thing that you've been putting off that could serve your growth. I want you to write that down. Now, while we're talking, I want you to still think this is you choosing you. You choosing you. So while we're talking and discussing, think about also those people in your lives who you think it's time for a break. It's time for a pause on them. The places that you go, it might be time for you to change, do enough of venue, destination, stop visiting those places if they're not adding value to your life. Now, I know it says adding value to your life. Is it giving you your time back? So think about those things. Now, why self-belief is a root of transformation? Why self-belief is a root of transformation? You can't create change from a place of doubt. You cannot create change from a place of doubt. So if you are an individual who second guesses everything that you do, you cannot create change. Because you're self-sabotaging yourself. You're self-sabotaging yourself. Because you can go and you can set those goals. You can say, I want to do this. But then it's like, I don't know. Just like, for example, people who normally don't celebrate themselves, and they decide that I'm going to go and I'm going to throw a birthday party this year. Just to celebrate being alive, because they feeling good this year. But then they get excited about like, oh, yes, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw this event. I'm going to do this. I'm having my friends come out. But then now they're starting to doubt. Will my friends actually come out? Who's going to come out for this? Who wants to celebrate with me? They might have other plans. You can't create that change if you're always doubting. So basically, what do you think is going to happen with that individual? They're going to cancel it. Forget it. Never mind. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it instead of going ahead with the plans that they originally had. So you got to remove the self-doubt in order to make change. Self-belief gives permission to take action, make mistakes, and keep going. Take actions, make mistakes, and keep going. And see, that's a lot of people's issue is the making a mistake part. I don't want to make a mistake. I don't want to mess up, because if I mess up, it could jeopardize this, and this. But the only way that we grow is we grow from our mistakes, because you end up learning, okay, I did it this way, it didn't work. So now I know next time I need to focus on it another way. So I need you to not be afraid to take action. I need you to not be afraid of making mistakes, and then keep going. Things are going to get challenging. Things might get difficult and hard, but I want you to keep going, keep pushing, keep persevering. Without belief, even your greatest ideas remain dormant. They'll just be there. And you'll be like, I had this idea. Now, I can give y'all one example of this. When I first child became a mom, and I was a breastfeeding mom, and I was like, you know what? Well, I can't even think of it now. What are the things called? The breast pumps. I was like, this thing needs to be a different kind of breast pump. Like, I need a breast pump that's connected to the bra, that does this, this, and this, and this, and this. And because they didn't have it out at that time. And I was like, it was a good idea. And my family can tell you, I come up with a lot of good ideas. Now, do I act on all of them? No, not at all. But it was a good idea. And it was one day, one of my in-laws' neighbor had came over to the house, and he was an investor, and he was a copyright for people who basically had good ideas. He could tell you, yes, it's a good idea, and he'll try to make it happen. And I just happened to share it with him, the idea that I had. And he was like, oh, he's like, did you do your research? And I was like, yeah, I did my research. Like, there is not a breast pump out here like this at all. Now, this was in 2013. I'm like, it's not one like this out here at all. Like, I need a smaller one. I need one that makes less noise. I need it to be attached to the bra, put in the bra or something. So I'm not walking around with these little bulky tubes sticking out the bra trying to pump milk. And he was like, okay. He was like, so he gave me a few ideas of what I needed to do. And I was like, okay. I didn't move on it. I had my second child in 2014. And guess what? They came out with the idea. I don't know who it was. I didn't go back and research it, but I know I was mad. And I kicked myself, because I'm looking like, oh my goodness, I could have been paid. Like, I could have been paid. So somebody was out there thinking the same thing that I was thinking, and they moved on it. And in the process of them moving on it, guess what? They got paid for it. So they took that action because they believed in themselves. They believed in the product that they was putting out there. So they took the action. And I'm quite sure they made some mistakes along the way trying to figure out how they was going to create this breast pump and make it work for everybody. And then guess what? They kept going. They kept going till it was on the shelves, and I saw it, and I wanted to kick myself. So that is what I need us to think about. Self-belief. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Believe that you have the knowledge that you can create things, that you can do things. So I want you to believe in yourself. Don't be like me, kicking myself later on down the road because I had this great idea and I didn't move on it. Okay, now I'm going to ask you all a question. Drop it in the chat. You can call in. The question is, where do you struggle to believe in yourself the most? Career, relationships, creativity, purpose. Where do you struggle to believe in yourself the most? You can drop it in the chat. If you want to call in, it's 443-267-6558. Where do you struggle to believe in yourself the most? And then what fear is keeping you from taking your next step? What fear is keeping you from taking your next step? I want you to share that. I want you to think about that. Where do you struggle to believe in yourself the most? Career, relationships, creativity, and purpose. What fear is keeping you from taking your next step? Now, I have some things that I wanted to share as well. Okay, so now we have career, relationship, creativity, and purpose. Where do you struggle to believe yourself? Career. Now, careers, Oh, look, I have someone who said, I struggle with relationships for sure, but also careers. I struggle with relationships for sure, but also careers. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Now, when you think about your careers, it can be a struggle with identifying yourself in the career, like where do you see yourself as far as building a career for yourself? Or it can be just you already have a career, but you don't have a voice in what it is that you're doing. So you're that type of person that I'm at this position, but I'm the person who everybody just dumps whatever they need to dump on me and I just get it done. But I don't have a voice. I'm not, hey, this is what we can be doing this. I'm not making a change. I don't feel like I'm being benefited or people are valuing me in my career. So there are different ways that you can struggle to believe in yourself at your career. Like, is this actually where I want to be? The position that I hold right now, am I making a difference? Those are things that you can be thinking about. Relationships, struggling to believe in yourself in relationship. That is also, yes, that I'm just going to say that can be a tough one, because when you're dealing with relationships and believing in yourselves, you have to be able to first speak up for yourself. If you're that type of person who's quiet and shy and you just allow others to speak at you or speak over you, you need to be able to develop your voice. And then I'll start having that conversation with others, so that way they're not talking at you or talking over you, but they're actually building their relationship with you, because a relationship takes two. You can't build a relationship with just one. So it takes two. And when we're building a relationship, it's dealing with communication. So you have to be able to communicate. And there are different ways to communicate. You can verbally communicate. You can communicate through showing affection. You can communicate through touch, through looks. So you have to be able to communicate. You can write things down to communicate. So when building that relationship, you have to look to see if the person that you're building relationship with, are they, one, worth your time? Are they bringing value to your life? Can you benefit from that person in some way? And when I say benefit, I'm not talking about manipulating that person. Can you take advantage of that person? Like, can you see yourself growing with that person? And this is not a relationship like a marriage relationship. It's even like a friend relationship, because you both have to be able to grow. Because if your friendship is not growing, guess what? One person is going to outgrow the other one. And in the process of outgrowing the other person, the one who is getting left behind is going to feel a certain type of way. And they're either going to realize they need to rise to the occasion to be where you are, or they're going to start feeling as though you're being snotty, bougie, whatever. And they're not taking that reflection time and saying, you know what? This person is moving on. They're growing. They decided that they want to go in this path, but I decided to stay here. Instead, they're going to be hurt. Can't even get it out. Hard feelings. They're going to be very emotional feelings going on. Somebody's going to think that they're trying to be better than me. And then they're going to either try to pull you back down to where you once were. So you need to think about that in your relationship. Both of the people need to be growing. And that's one thing I was just talking to my husband about. I'm excited because we're growing together. And I'm just like, because in the beginning, we've been together, Lord, we've been married for 15 years, but we've been together 21 years. So in that time, we can see the growth that we all had. We're not the same people we were when we first met. That was in our 20s. We done been together half our lifetime. We're not the same people. And we have grown in tremendous ways, leaps and bounds we have grown. And I'm just excited because we're growing together. We're not growing apart. We're growing together. We actually sit and we have conversations. And this is one thing you have to work on. Any relationship, you got to work on these things. Because in the beginning, we struggled with building a relationship as far as communicating with each other. It was like, he should be able to read my mind. He should know what I'm thinking. And then he was quiet and kept things to himself. So I always got to be like, what you thinking? Tell me what you thinking. What's going on? I see you thinking. And he was just looking at me like, really? But now it's to the point that our communication is so dead on that we can just look at each other and he go, what? You about to say something. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, I was just thinking this, that, and the other. Or I can look at him and go, what's on your mind? And he freely shares with me. But that's because we have grown. We have grown. And this was not an easy path. It took us some time to get there. We had some difficulties along the way because communication was the thing. And communication is the key to a relationship. So if you can't get that communication together, it will break you. If you can't get that communication together, it will break you. So you got to be able to communicate with whomever the person is. You got to be able to see eye to eye. You got to learn to be able to speak to that individual and not speak at that individual. You have to be able to see the different perspectives. And that's another thing right there, being able to see different perspectives. Because I think one way, he thinks another. I'm emotional. He's not. He's logic. So then we had to find the balance between the emotional and the logic. I lead with my heart. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go get it. Like, oh, I'm getting it. And he like, wait a minute. Let's think about this now. Like, does this really make sense? So we have to be able to be on one accord as far as how our relationship goes, to be able to keep our family together. And I'm just excited because we are building that together. And just like, when I get riled up and I get pumped, he able to calm me down. And then when I see him getting worked up, I'm like, hey, let's talk about this. All right. And it works out. So you have to be able to build that communication. Remember, it takes two to communicate, and you need to be talking to each other and not talking at each other. Because if you're like me, you start talking at me, I'm going to tune you out. In my head, it's like la, 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 la. And then when I see your mouth stop moving, then I'm like, oh, okay. So you need to be able to learn how to communicate. That is key. Now, moving on, believing in yourself for creativity. Believing in yourself in the creative space. Now, the creative space is something, I dwell in the creative space. God gives me so many visions on things, and I just be like, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm the one who wants to jump from one venture to another, but I'm finally stable in my ventures because I can see something and be like, I can make this work. I can make this work, and I will go and make this thing work. So, but you have to believe in yourself that whatever it is that you are doing, it's always the same thing. You're adding value. You're adding value. And I just realized that it's always the same thing. Whatever it is that you're doing, it has to be adding value. And that even goes back to relationship. Are you adding value in your relationship? Are you adding value? Are you able to build that person up? Are you able to support that person? Are you able to be the accountability partner for that person? Are you adding value? Or are you being that person who's speaking negatively over them? You never get anything right. You can't do this. You can't do that. Oh my goodness. I thought you were smarter than that. Are you adding value? That's the same thing with the career. Are you adding value? Creativity. Whatever it is that you are creating or you're in your creative space, are you adding value? Are you adding value? And for creativity, it's more so, is it something that other people want? Is it something that other people need? And then you stop and think about it and go, okay, yes, I can do this. And then your purpose. Purpose is the same thing. Are you adding value? That is the word for today, value. Are you adding value? Your purpose in your life. Are you adding value to somebody else's life? What is it that your purpose is? And are you adding value in that purpose? So those are some questions that I had thrown out before you. Where do you struggle to believe in yourself the most? Career, relationships, creativity, and purpose. And what fear is keeping you from taking your next step? What fear is keeping you from taking your next step? Because we talked about it last week. I want you to have faith. And I want you to take that next step. And I want you to move forward. And remember, faith does not mean there's an absence of fear. We talked about that last week. So you can be afraid to take that next step, but you need to believe in yourself. Believe in yourself enough to say, I am going to do this because I have already worked out the action plan of what it is that I'm going to do. And based off of what I have worked out, what I have written down, the goals, the steps, it can work in my favor. And it will work in my favor. So I'm going to take that next step. I am going to believe in myself. And I'm going to do this thing. So I need you to knock that fear out the way. Fear, you cannot live here any longer. You cannot hold me back from my dreams. You can't hold me back from my destiny. Knock it out the way. Okay, so we have a question. How do you improve your belief in yourself? How do you improve your belief in yourself? Now, for improving your belief in yourself, the first thing you need to do is first identify who you are. Identify who you are. Identify your strengths, your weaknesses. So if you got to write a list, write down your list. These are my strengths. I am good at this, and this. These are my weaknesses, flaws, whatever you want to call it. You make that list. These are my weaknesses. I need to improve in this, and this. Then I want you to look back at your strengths, and I want you to identify out of those strengths which ones stand out to you the most. Which one stands out to you the most? And then from those, I want you to start breathing life into those strengths. And then look at your weaknesses and look at which ones you actually want to improve on. Because some weaknesses, they're not like your main priority. But then some of them, you can like, if I could just get this one thing right here. If I could just do this one thing. If I could just learn to speak up. If I could just learn to not be shy. If I could just learn to hold my tongue. If I could just learn to listen. So if you could just pick out that 1, 2, 3 weaknesses that you want to improve upon, and you know that if you improve upon those 3 weaknesses, it's going to change your life for the better. And that way you can add those to your strengths. Because once you identify your strengths and weaknesses, you basically have identified, that's your foundation. That is your foundation for where it is that you need to start and building yourself up. Because you identify your strengths, you just identify, if you write down 10 strengths, you have just identified 10 positive things about yourself. And you're probably going to sit there and go, wow, I didn't even think about this one. Like, oh my goodness. And while you're writing those things down, you're having aha moments. And in those aha moments, it's like giving yourself a pat on the back. You're a round of applause. You're like, yes. So it's like, I'm good at something. Like, I can do this. Because you're probably looking at yourself like, there's not really anything that I'm good at. But once you start writing that list of strengths down, it's like, oh, okay. And then if you get stuck on writing your list of strengths, ask people that you know. Just like, hey, what am I good at? What do you think I'm good at? And they're going to tell you based off of what they see, what they think you're good at. And it's just going to be like, okay. And in the process, you're going to start feeling yourself. And that's a good thing. Because you're going to be like, I ain't think about this. Like, oh, okay, I'm good at that. Okay. You're going to start feeling yourself. And in the process of you starting to feel yourself, that belief in yourself is starting to grow. And it's starting to grow. And it's going to start energizing you. And then after you identify the strengths and the weaknesses, then you can start putting in a plan of action. I want to be able to work on this. And since I'm good at this, let me try this. So that is how you can start improving your belief in yourself. That's how you can start improving your belief in yourself, by first starting off with the foundation, identify your strengths and your weaknesses, and then build an action plan on how you can improve some of your weaknesses, especially the weaknesses that you see can add value to your life if you improve on them. Thank you, Brianna, for putting that inside of the chat. Thank you for putting that in the chat. For those who are looking, Brianna have typed up how you can improve on your weaknesses. Okay, so now, what gets in the way of you choosing yourself? What gets in the way of you choosing yourself? Now, we have some key points. And I'm broke it down by different people. So we're going to talk about parents. What gets in the way of you choosing yourself? Working people. What gets in the way? If you are somebody who dealt with trauma in your life, what gets in your way? Young people, single people in a relationship, single people, period, and then leaders. Because we all have different things that get in our way. Then some of them are going to overlap. Some of them are going to overlap. So now I wanted to just share, because while I was doing this, I was like, oh yeah, let me write this down. So I want to share some of the things. And you can also type in, if you already have it in your mind, you already know, oh, this is what it is for me. What gets in the way of choosing yourself? Now, for parents, we have guilt over prioritizing themselves before their children. Belief that self-sacrifice equals good parenting. I'm going to tell you right now, that's a lie. That's a lie from the devil. Self-sacrificing does not mean you a good parent. That means you're going to be worn out, burnt out. Don't do it, people. Then you have lack of time and energy due to constant caregiving. Fear of being judged for setting boundaries or needing space. Now, these are some things why parents have issues with choosing themselves. Guilt, self-sacrifice, lack of time and energy, fear of being judged for setting boundaries. Working people. Now, y'all can chime in at any time. Working people. What gets in your way? Burnout. Pressure of always being on. I got it. I'm going to do this. I got to do this. I'm going to turn this in. I'm going to turn it in. Yes. Workplace culture that rewards over-functioning. Workplace culture that rewards over-functioning. So you think you're always there. You working past your set time to be there. You're supposed to get off at 5. I'm going to stay to 7. Because this look good. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to do all this. And then you come home and it's like, all I'm doing is going to bed and get up and do this all over again. Go to bed, get up, do this all over again. What happened to your you time? What do you do? Because when I was teaching, when it was time to go, I would stay a little bit just to make sure my room was clean. I had stuff together. My first stop, see, this is when I was younger. I was able to do this. My first stop was I was picking up something good to eat. I was getting a sub. I was getting something. And then I would go home. I would turn on Hallmark. And I would just sit there and I would eat my food and I would watch Hallmark. That was my me time when I was teaching. Because when you teach or when you're doing any kind of job, all of that stress, it's heavy. And that was my one thing. I wanted to be able to let it go by the time I get home. So my car ride home, this is when I first started teaching. I wasn't married, didn't have kids, none of that. It was just me and my house and my goldfish. So I stopped. I got the food that I wanted to eat. I would go sit in the house. I would watch my show, regather myself, and just woosah. That was my thing. And I did that almost every day. Now, remember, I was younger. It was just me. So I was able to eat all of that greasy, good food every day and enjoy myself. But that was what my me time was about while I was teaching. So I was ready the next day to go in there and do what I had to do because I came home and I took care of me the best way that I knew how at that moment. At some point, guys, I did start going to the gym. But in the beginning, that's what it was. I need my good food and I just need my movie. So yeah, think about it. For working people, burnout, workplace culture, rewards over function, fear of losing income or position by setting boundaries. Identity wrapped in a job performance rather than personal growth or personal worth. So those are some things that get in the way of you choosing yourself. Your identity is wrapped in your job, but not in your personal worth. Your fear of losing your income or your position if you set boundaries. Guess what? No, I'm supposed to clock out at 5 o'clock. So I'm sorry. After 5 o'clock, I am clocked out. I will see you. I will talk to you the next day. Please don't call me. Please don't email me because it's not going to get done until the next day. But sometimes you have to set those boundaries because if not, they're going to realize, oh, we can do this because she answered the first time. He answered the first time. So we're going to keep doing this because we already know they're going to continue to answer and they're going to continue to report in and do these things. Next is people who have dealt with trauma. People who have dealt with trauma. Survival mindset that puts other needs above their own. Survival mindset. Put other needs above their own. So that means they're the ones that I got to make everything right. I got to fix this. This is how it needs to go. I see they're hurting over there. What can I do to help them? Okay, she needs this. I'm going to give her this. She needs a ride. I'm going to let her borrow my car. So you're putting everybody's needs above yourself. And then once it's all said and done, at the end of the day, you're just drained because you stretch yourself so thin, you don't have anything to pour back into you. So that's the survival mindset. Difficulty trusting themselves or others. Depending upon what you've been through, you have difficulty trusting yourselves or others. Emotional numbness or fear of feeling deeply. Some people don't want to feel too deeply because they know last time when I did this, I let go, I opened my heart, this is what happened. So now they're afraid of what's going to happen because of what happened last time. And then conditioning to shrink, to stay silent, to stay safe. If I stay over here and I be quiet, no harm will come to me. They're not going to notice me over here. So I'm just going to be quiet. So that is people who have dealt with trauma. Okay, we have Brianna who said definitely a workplace that rewards overworking. Yes, I mean, they'll get you with that, especially if they throw out them good bonuses. Oh my goodness. You're going to be like, wait a minute, all I got to do is do this and I'm going to get what? Oh, let me do this. But then you got to stop and think, you're doing that. What is that taking away from you? So you got to stop and think about that. You got to weigh the options. Which one is better? Which one is better? And then we have Nikki. Nikki is saying, my life is doing or wanting to be helpful, but needing to learn to take time out for me. Because now my body tells me to sit down and stay still. Yes, 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 yes. You got to learn. You can't help everybody. You can't help everybody because then at the end of the day, if you're that type of person who keeps pouring into other people, your time, it might not hit you that day. Because I know I was that person. It might not hit you that day, but when it hits you, you're there and you're in this lonely, dark place. And you're like, what about me? You're just sitting there. You're going, what about me? I give, I help. What about me? Like I'm sitting here. I need somebody to pour into me and nobody's here to help me. Nobody's here to pour into me. And it's just like, what was it really worth it? Like, do they see me? Do they understand like what I had to sacrifice, what I do? Do they see it? Do they appreciate it? So you're feeling all those type of ways because you did for everybody else. And you're just sitting there like, okay, now I need somebody and there's nobody here for me. So yes, you have to think about those things. Take your time out for yourself, set them boundaries, say, no, I can't help you, love you, but I can't help you. I can't go, I can't do. Like, I just need to be still for me. I need to be quiet. I need to listen to what my body is saying. I need to listen to what my heart is saying. I need to listen to what my mind is saying. Because if you keep doing what you're doing, your mind going to start saying a whole bunch of crazy things. And that is not where we want us to dwell at. We don't want us to live in the land of far, far away. So we need you to stop and take time for yourself. Now, young people, what gets in the way of the young people choosing themselves? Peer pressure, desire to fit in, lack of self-awareness due to developing identity, external influences such as social media and societal expectations, fear of disappointing parents or mentors. Single people in relationships, codependency, or fear of being alone. People pleasing to maintain connections, losing identity in relationships, believing that choosing oneself means being selfish. Now, I just realized I said single people in a relationship. You're in a relationship, you're not single. So this is just for people who are in a relationship. People who are in a relationship. Now, one of the things I wanted to mention on this one is losing identity in relationships. That is one thing that I need people to understand. Do not lose your identity. And for me, you have to know who you are before you can get into a relationship. Because if you don't know who you are and you are short of who you are as far as your values, but your beliefs, what you want people to see, all of that, once you get into that relationship, you can start wavering on your beliefs, your values to please the other individual. And you can start giving up stuff that you know for a fact you wanted to keep just to please the other person. Now, I'm going to give this example. This is high school. This was high school for me. Junior year of high school, matter of fact, first boyfriend. It was this guy that I liked. But see, at that point, I'm going to say this before I go into it. I was that old person in high school. I was the person people came to and they wanted advice. And I was like, no, don't do that. Like, don't do that. And I would have them weigh the pros and cons. Like, look at it this way. Like, this what you want to happen? Or like, I don't think that'll be why. I was that person. So I was learning who I was. I'm not saying I was completely 100% sure who I was, but I was learning who I was based on seeing other people and saying, I know I don't want to do this. I don't want to be that. I want to be this. Now, did I know I was going to turn into this back then? No way. But I was still assured of who I was. So high school, junior year, it was this guy that I liked. And I watched him for a while. We were on track team together. I watched him for a while. Yes, I was on the track team, but any good? Not really, but I was there. I just enjoyed the teamwork, the camaraderie, friendships. But so, okay. And I was just watching him for a while. And at one point, I finally got up the nerve to ask him, like, hey, but this is the thing. Because I was in the process of learning me, growing on me, loving me. I wrote out a whole note to this guy. Like, hey, you know how we always start off the notes back in the day. Hey, I like you. Do you like me? But then it also said, but before we move forward, I need you to understand. And I wrote on there, like, I am a Christian. I love God. I'm not having sex until I am married. So if that is what you're looking for, sorry, this is not going to work. That was the main thing I remember putting on there. And then I put some other things like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this. And then at the bottom it said, if you agree with these terms, okay, let me know. And so this is how I presented it. I just walked over to him, handed him the note, and then I walked. No, did I stand there? Yes, I stood there while he read it. I walked over to him, handed him the note, stood there while he read it. Now, I was a junior in high school. He was a senior in high school. And he sat and he read the whole thing. And at that point, I'm sweating. I'm nervous, like, oh my goodness, I really did this. And then he looked up at me and he said, I remember his words exactly. He had a soda bottle in his hand with a little bit of soda left in it. And he looked at me and said, let's do this. And then he threw the soda bottle at me. I remember that. But the thing about it is, I can say I knew who I was. I knew what I wanted. I knew my values. I knew what I wasn't going to give up in that relationship. And for high school, that's a big thing, especially, sex. That's a big thing, high school. Like, what? Oh, she ain't giving up. I'm moving on. No, he was like, let's do this. And I could say through our whole relationship, I think we were together for 2.5 years. Pure gentleman. Never pressured me, never did anything. I mean, yes, we were in a relationship. Yes, we did the cuddles, kiss, and all that stuff. But never, ever pressured me. And that was one thing I appreciated about him. He understood what I stood for. He was right there like, okay. Like, he invited me to his church. I went to his church. But he never, ever pressured me. Now, I will also say, just in case one day he happens to listen to this, I apologize for how I ended the relationship. But I'm going to share this with you as well, because I ended the relationship because I felt like I was losing myself. I didn't word it in that way to him. Once again, I wrote a Dear John letter. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I wrote a Dear John letter. Basically, I felt like I was losing myself in the relationship because there are things that I wrote in the letter in the beginning saying I wasn't going to do. But now I was tempted to do. Like, I was starting to lust and all of this other stuff. And it's like, that's what you do. You're young, you're teenage, your hormones are running. But it was like, I wanted to, but I was like, no, I don't want to. I want to, but I don't want to. But see, that's another thing with choosing you. You have to be able to stick to what it is that you stand for, your beliefs, your values. You have to be able to. And me, I felt as though I was losing myself in that relationship. It is not anything that he did wrong, not at all, because he was a pure gentleman, straight up pure gentleman the whole time. It was just the fact that my body was desiring things that I wasn't willing to give at that moment. And I was just like, if the moment happened, we all on here, we're grown adults. You already know the moment happened, it was going to happen. And I was like, I can't do this right now. I can't do this right now. Because me, I'm like, I can't be, my first thing was, I can't be a single mom. I can't be a teen mom. I can't even take care of myself. I mean, I was going through the whole thing. My mind was going crazy. It was going crazy. And I was like, I just can't do this. I can't do this. Like, my parents are going to kill me. Like, no, I can't. So I was just like, okay, I just had to end it. And the way I ended it, yes, it was I was young. It was a letter, yes. And I had to mail it to him because he was in college. He was away at college. And he was upset. I was upset. Trust me. I was crushed for like a month, crying into my stuffed animal that he gave me. I still remember this. Yes, crying to my stuffed animal that he gave me, all of that. I was distraught. But once again, I had to say yes to me. I had to stick to my rules, and I had to say yes to me. So if you're listening, I am so sorry. I apologize for the way things ended. I lost some friends over that relationship too. They were like, "You did what?" Cut me off, but I'm sorry. But yeah, so once again, I said all of that just to say, choose you. Relationship, career, job, whatever it is, choose you. Set them boundaries, stick to them boundaries. Now, if you know you set an impossible boundary and it needs to be fixed, go ahead and fix the boundary. But I just need you to choose you. Choose you. I didn't even finish my list. It will get to the rest of the stuff because the topic was getting good. Okay, who did I stop for? Okay, singleness, single people. What gets in your way of choosing you? Loneliness that drives them to settle or ignore personal needs. Internalized shame about being alone. Societal pressures to find a partner to feel complete. You can be complete by yourself. You don't need a partner. Fear of missing out or not being chosen by others. So that is some things the single people have of choosing a way of not choosing themselves. And then leaders, over responsibility for others, success and well-being. Belief that vulnerability equals weakness, pressure to always have the answer, and suppressing personal needs to maintain control and image. So I just want you all to think about that. Those are some ways that cause people to not choose themselves. And my time is winding down, but I want to be able to share the positive part of it, the actionable stuff before I end this. I just can't leave you hanging with, I identify why, but don't give you the steps. So very quickly, for parents, these are some steps that you can do to choose yourself. Reframe self-care as family care. Schedule me time without guilt. Ask, what do I need to do today? Model self-love. Because if you model self-love, your children are going to start repeating your actions. Set boundaries. Working people, define your worth outside your job title. Take intentional breaks. Advocate for balance. Practice saying no. Invest in hobbies. 3, people who have dealt with trauma. Reclaim your voice. How are you going to do that? Acknowledge your story without shame. Seek safe spaces for healing. Challenge internalized beliefs. Do I truly believe this, or was I taught this? Rebuild trust in your intuition. Practice gentleness. Practice kindness. And practice loving yourself. Then we have young people. Discover your identity early. My time is winding down. Understand it is okay to be you. Limit comparisons. Ask what lights me up. That means learn your interests. Talk to mentors. Define success for yourself. Relationships. Check in with yourself regularly. Hey, you all right? Yeah, I'm all right. I talk to myself on a regular. I check in with myself. Y'all need to do the same. Start talking to yourself. Honor your goals. Set and uphold boundaries. Have separate interests. Redefine love. Single people, embrace solitude as strength. Celebrate your own company. Invest in growth. Affirm your completeness. Break societal scripts. Surround yourself with uplifters. And finally, leaders. Leading without losing yourself. Allow yourself to be human. Delegate. Pursue passion outside leadership. Reflect regularly. And say yes to your needs. Now, I am going to end it here. I thank you for tuning in today with me. Next week, invite somebody to come. We are going to be talking about discovering the power within you, owning your story from shame to strength. I encourage you to re-listen to this. Take some notes if you have to. Once again, if you have not subscribed to my YouTube channel or Facebook, please go and do that at Empowering Others to Excel. And yet again, I thank you for tuning in. Coming up next is the pros and cons of human nature with your host, Nikki.
Empowering Others to Excel with your host, Jacqueline Job. Empowering others to excel with your host, Jacqueline Job.